There were evident.
Good evening. Welcome to This Week in Review. In tonight's show, we will have We will begin our show tonight by speaking with Leonard Matthews to find out more information regarding the new fire hall. Len, you've finally received your grant for the fire hall. How much is the grant?
The grant, Donna, is I believe $34,000, and out of that we have $8,750 for materials. The rest is all in labor.
Okay, and you're carrying on 7 people.
Yeah, there'll be 7 workers ordered for 10 weeks. As far as I know, it's going to be 4 males and 3 females will be hired.
Okay. Have you, the fire hall, the firemen supplied any money towards the fire hall yourself?
Yes. Last year we put in, of our own money we raised through different fundraising activities. We raised $14,000. And we put that into the fire station. This year, as of now, we're not going to be able to put in any of our own money, I guess, because we just don't have any money. We got to get some fundraising activities on going now after the summer is over, and we hope to raise a few more dollars. We have our big thing, I guess, this year is we have a walk. We have 2 firemen that are going to walk from the Trans-Canada Highway to Burgeo. It's scheduled to start on the 27th of September, I believe. So we're looking for sponsors for these firemen. So if there's anybody out there like to sponsor the firemen, like to contribute in any way, we'd certainly accept it. The more money we can raise, the better.
Right, okay. Do you have any other fundraisers that you're planning?
Yeah, we have a TV bingo scheduled for late in October, I believe it is. Our annual fish ticket, we don't know if that's going to go ahead now in October, or probably that might we might have that later on in the winter, and we've come up with another idea for another takeout in the fall rather than the fish and chip one. So right now I really don't know what we're going to be doing, but it will be one or the other. Anyway.
Okay, so you're definitely going to be planning something.
Oh yes, for sure, for sure.
Extra money in there. Okay. Once the labor begins, what will they be starting with?
Well, the first thing I guess has to be done is the eaves has to be completed. And there's just eaves now in the back of the building. We're hoping to have the roof shingle, and then we hope to get the windows in. Other than that, we had hoped to put siding on, but also we're waiting for TWIR from the provincial government. There may be a possibility of us getting some money from them. If so, then we hope to put siding on the building as well.
Okay.
So then we would have it pretty well completed outside this year.
Okay, so you are just looking at the outside.
Just the outside for now, yes.
Okay. How long do you think, well, this will be another year past now because you're only going to be doing the outside, but from, how long do you think it's going to take until it's completed?
To complete the building? Oh, It's hard to say, I guess. You know, when we started this building, we figured it was going to take us around probably 4 years anyway to see a completed building. That depends, you know, on the money that we can raise ourselves and the money that we can get through grants and that. So, you know, we're gone almost a year now with nothing done. So, you know, this we hadn't expected. We thought we would have got some work on to go to spring because last year we had 2 grants from the government. This year, well, this looks like now we're just going to have the one. So it's, you know, it's going to be hard to say. It's going to be probably 4 or 5 years before the building is completed.
Would you like to clarify a matter right now?
Oh yes, on your newscast last week, it was stated that I refused an interview. Well, that was not exactly correct. When I was approached to do an interview on the FAR we had at Mrs. Scott's, we had just returned from the FAR. We just got back into the station. And right then, I didn't have any information that I could pass on to the public. I knew some of the questions that I would be asked, you know, regular question sort of thing. What caused the fire? Right then, I couldn't say. We had a pretty good idea, but we weren't sure, so I certainly couldn't say publicly that this caused the fire, and it could turn out that it was something else. I probably would have been asked for an estimate of damages. Again, I didn't know because we hadn't, you know, looked at that part of it. Was there any insurance coverage carried? Again, I didn't know because I hadn't talked to the lady. So what I said was, I don't have any information now. But when I do have the information, if you want to come back and do an interview, I will do it. But that was all I heard of it, and until Sunday night on the newscast. But it was not that I would not do an interview, that I just did not have any information at that time.
Okay. Well, we have the matter straightened out.
Yes,
now.
yes.
Okay. Well, thanks for taking the time to come in the studio.
You're quite welcome down at any time.
Thank you. Charles Flight of Nova Recycling was in town this week to distribute free boxes to organizations. The purpose of these boxes are to collect aluminum cans that will be recycled at the plant in Corner Brook. Mr. Flight dropped by the studio to fill us in on the recycling business. Mr. Flight, what is the purpose of your visiting our town?
I came down today, Donna, mainly to introduce our box that we're going to use for the aluminum cans, the collection of aluminum cans from the different fundraising organizations or the individuals, which if some individual want one to keep their cans in, we got no problem with that. But that's the main purpose, just to introduce the box. Also, I wanted to come down to see how big Burgeo and Ramia was combined, to see how much material has been thrown in the garbage down here in the dump site. As we are in process now of collecting all recyclables from every little town, every little cove on the island. There will be no one missed. Everybody is going to be covered. So what we're trying to do now is see how much materials in each town, so that when our truck comes, we're going to have a truck that's going to be going from one end of Newfoundland Island to the other, collecting this material. So I'm trying to get a hand on how often I would have to send her to, say, Burgeo, and we collect also from Ramia. And that's the main purpose for me down here today. And I wanted to bring down some price lists of the things that we're taking, the different things that we're taking. I wanted to bring some price lists and get to know some of the people down there, because I guess a lady by the name of Mrs. Ann Parsons, she seen it in the newspaper, and she gave me a call and asked me about the boxes. So I explained to her on the phone what it was all about, so she wanted to get a few boxes, so I thought it was a good chance to come down, meet some of the people. Also, there was another guy that phoned wanted some boxes, so I came down today to have a look and explain to the people what's involved with recycling.
Okay. This particular box is aluminum cans only, please?
Just for aluminum
Okay,
cans.
so do you have a different box for different items?
No. What everyone else is doing, like in Corner Brook, all the smaller towns that's been involved so far, from like Pasadena, for instance, just east of Corner Brook, what they've been doing, the Boy Scouts and the Girl Guides have got together, and they collect all the empty lube bottles, all the windshield washer empty windshield washer cans, antifreeze cans, anything in plastic.
Mm-hmm.
Plastic garbage bags, the plastic grocery bags. And what they do, they pack it all in one place. Either someone got a shed or something. And what they do, once they get enough to make it worthwhile for the recycling company to pick it up, they'll give us a call at the building. We'll send our truck up and we'll take everything they got, all their cans, all their plastic bottles, and everything, computer paper, white ledger paper, and we'll bring it down to the building. We'll weigh it. If they haven't already got it done, we'll weigh it, and we'll pay those people the prices that we're paying for the different things that we're recycling.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What different types of material are you recycling, in fact?
I got a list there of some of the things that we recycle and the price we're paying for 'em.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be leaving some of those price lists around town so people will be able to pick them up. We got mixed ledger and computer paper. If you mix it together, we pay 2 cents a pound because we have to separate it at the plant. If you separate it at the source, then we pay 2 cents a pound for white ledger, 3 cents a pound for computer paper.
Mm-hmm.
We also take cardboard, which is 1 cent a pound. We're getting most of that from the big stores in Corner Brook, from like Dominion, Sobeys, your bigger outlets. We also take the PET plastic pop bottle. We call it PET. It's a word that's a mile long, so we just call it PET for short. It's the plastic, the 2 liter, the 1 liter, and the 500 mil. We pay 10 cents a pound for this plastic. We want that separated in bags on its own because it can't be mixed with any other plastic. We also take the aluminum pop cans and the beer cans.
Mm-hmm.
So it don't make no difference if they're beer cans or pop cans, we take both. And then we take what we call mixed plastic, which is anything, the ordinary household things like your Javex bottles, the oil bottles that you change oil on your car with, antifreeze bottles, windshield wash bottles, catsup bottles, whatever, anything in plastic that we'll take, and we pay 3 cents a pound for mixed plastic.
Mm-hmm.
And what'll happen, the truck will come to Burgeo once a month or once every 2, whatever is necessary. We'll pick up everything that they got, whether it's from the individual or fundraising. We'll take it from the individual just the same as for fundraising. We do have a lot of people that save everything for 2 months and bring it to me. So we pay them for whatever it's worth, and we do it either for individual or, like I say, the fundraising.
Mm-hmm.
So it's working good. It's really working good up our way.
Okay. How long have you been in
We
recycling?
started last 1st of January of this year, and first we started was just cardboard only, and we've shipped out of Corner Brook so far this year 570 tons of cardboard.
Mm-hmm.
Already they're seeing a big difference in their dump site. They're starting to see that it's really something to it when they say that you can take 50 to 60% off recycled materials at the dump site. Like all the paper that's going to the dump site, it don't go to the dump site anymore. We take all computer paper, white ledger paper, and the cardboard at the dump. And now we're taking all the different plastics. And I talked to the people in the dump site in Corner Brook, which they got a big dump that they service all Corner Brook and one side of the bay, the north side of the bay.
Mm-hmm.
They can see a big difference in their dump site.
I would say.
Right now, Corner Brook is in the process of moving ahead with some other projects, and they figure that they're going to save at least 10 years on their dump site, that they're going to prolong the life of that dump at least 10 years.
That's great. And it's being put to a good use.
Yes, because nobody needs a dump site anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And we're wasteful people. We've been always a wasteful people. Throw away thing. I did it. I've seen my parents throw everything away. I did the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just been come down. But it's an educational thing right now. The kids are learning more about it in school. What we're going to have come September is we're going to be associated with Q Radio.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to have a project ongoing for the year. The school that collects the most pounds of cans per capita, that school will receive either a television and VCR. And in the spring, whatever school got the most pounds, Q Radio's going to bring out their big ghetto blaster, the big one on wheels, and they're going to hire a hall in that town or city, whichever it's to, and Coke and Pepsi are going to supply the pops and hot dogs and hamburgers, and they're going to have a dance. They're going to have a dance for school. Q Radio's going to supply music, so it's going to be a big thing. Also, the government's come out with some videos this year. We haven't received them yet, but we're going to have videos that will be going around to schools and the kids will be able to look at. Also, I think they got some things like pencils and things with recycling marked on that's coming out.
Okay.
So right now, the government is really interested in doing something with the province, especially with the litter that we got by the highways.
Yeah, that's a big
Yeah.
problem.
A little later on in the fall, probably in November or late or early in the year, we'll be taking glass bottles. Right now, we're not set up to handle glass because it's hard to transport, it's hard to handle, it's hard to clear up, there's no price in it, everything is against you. But I guess they realize that we just got to pick it up. It just can't go on. Our highways are littered and the beaches and everything, so in the end of the year, we will be taking Coke and provincial beverages and Browning Arby have asked us to pick it up, so we will be picking it up later in the year.
Okay, could you tell us a little bit about the recycling process?
What happens, they bring all the cardboard to me and we pay $0.01 a pound for cardboard. Like in Cornerbrook, it's not so bad because it's not a lot, unless you've got a lot, because it takes a lot of cardboard to make a pound. They bring the cardboard to us and we run it through a shredding process where we munch the cardboard up in small pieces so it can be densified into a baling machine. So we bale it in bales about 1,500 to 1,600 pounds, and we ship it off to Ansport, Nova Scotia. And it's all new cardboard made over again. Instead of them cutting another tree, they just recycle the cardboard.
That's good. That's good for our forest.
It's good for, especially Newfoundland. We're getting cut out there right now.
For sure.
And the plastic, the PET plastic, the 2-liter pop bottle, that goes to Buffalo, New York, where it's been chipped up and put into insulation for ski jackets and things like that. The mixed plastic, like the salt bags that you use to the fish plant, those salt bags are the best plastic that's made. We get a lot of them. We get them from Dumfries Fisheries in Cornerbrook. We get literally truckloads of those things, and they're worth a good buck. It's 3 cents a pound, and they throw them away anyway. So we buy all the salt bags, and we pack those up, and we buy all the bags that comes from Sobeys, Riffs, any of the stores that got those plastic bags. We take all those back and bale them up and ship them away. And all the plastic, what we do, we chip it up in little chips, and we ship it away in chips, in chip form. Ship it to Domtar in Ontario is buying all our plastic right now. And they're making everything from the plant hanger that you see, the green plant hanger that you see at home. That's made out of recycled plastic. And they're making fence posts, fence rails, and pickets. I was to a little seminar that was down in Maine a while ago, and the guy he was making fencing out of this plastic. He had so many different colors. He had a blue post and a white one, a green one, and a brown one. And he had the rails and the pickets all to match. And he had one put up in his yard, and he said the only thing he does with it in the spring of the year, he sprays it down, washes it down, that's it, you don't touch it no more. It never rots. So.
Yeah. It's really
So
amazing
like,
what you can do with this.
And I mean, we've been all these years throwing it in the dump site. It's been causing hazard in the environment. We've been throwing it away. So I think I guess we're the last province in Canada to get into recycling, because everywhere else, like in Ontario and those places, they're really into recycling, fairly heavy. And but I worked in Alberta in Fort McMurray for 8 years in the tar sands, and we were going down to see a Dolly Parton concert down to the Northland Coliseum in Edmonton when our car broke down, or she ran hot. And the guy was with me, checked it out and said, the fan bill's slack, we tightened it up, put some water in, and we would be on our way. And we couldn't find a darn can or a bottle along by the road. So that's what started us into recycling.
Mm-hmm.
So we started from there and said, you know, I'll come back home, you could pick up a can or a bottle, any amount that you wanted to
That's
put
right.
well in your car. So it started from there, and we took it on from there and went and seen the different people that was involved in recycling, and came home to Newfoundland. Went in to see the government. We got kicked out a few times. Told us there's no such thing as litter in Newfoundland. That was the first thing they told us, that we got no litter in Newfoundland. And it went on and on and on over the years, 3 years to be exact. We went through one government department at the time was called TWIR. That was the first people we made an application with to get some funds to start this. And then that went to dry, and then it went from dry to a call. So the call was the last people we approached.
Mm-hmm.
We finally got some funds from the government. We started in Cornerbrook. I opened in January, and we went on up till around May month. So I talked to Coke and Pepsi, or Provincial Beverages, which bottles Coke, and Browning Arby's, which bottle Pepsi, and they were quite interested in getting something done with litter with their products.
Mm-hmm.
So they came across with substantial amount of money to put into it, so that put us on our feet.
Mm-hmm. So, and you do have 2 plants in Newfoundland?
Yes,
other
we
than
got
St.
one in
John's?
Cornerbrook and one in St. John's. St. John's plant's quite a bit bigger than this one because of the population for one,
Mm-hmm.
and it's where most of our manufacturing is done. You know, East Coast Converters, they're the people who make all the plastic in Newfoundland. They're the biggest majority of it, 90% of it. So all the things that they misform, their bags and everything, we get it all, so they just ship it over to us.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's a good help for us because it's the few bucks that you need to keep rolling, because it takes 49,000 pop cans to make 1 ton.
That's a lot of
And I got to
popcorn.
have 25 tons before I can ship it out.
Uh-huh.
So you can imagine how long I'm waiting before I'm ready to ship out, so,
Mhm.
and that's money tied up.
Right, okay.
Those plastic pop bottles, the 2 liter, there's 8,400 in 600 pounds. So that's how many is in, you know, and it takes up such a space, so.
Yeah.
And like I say, you're gonna have a lot, you're gonna be a nice while before you get enough to ship out a full load.
Mhm. Do you find the seasons have any effect on your material? that you
Yes,
get?
you get a lot more material early in the spring, because spring clothing is coming in to
Mhm.
storage. You get a lot more cardboard, and you get a lot September month, because all the fall, winter clothing is coming in. So you get a substantial amount of more of cardboard.
Mhm.
Your computer paper and white ledger paper that we're collecting from the federal offices right now. What we're doing with the federal offices and things like that, we contribute to their coffee fund. They'll collect all our paper, and we sort of contribute to the coffee fund or the Christmas party or whatever. We got a lot of people that save all their boxes, and they bring them down, and they got $15 worth or whatever, they just put it on an account. When they get $100 or so, they pick up their money and put it towards their Christmas party. So that's really working good.
Mhm.
But I'm quite interested in getting the truck on the road right now, because I've had another call. I had sent the truck to Port of Bass last spring, and we got a load. And it's only a few days ago they sent back and said, well, the kids have been although it was only just one exposure to the environment, to the recycling program, the kids have been saving all over the summer, and now they're ready for me to come back and get another load, you know.
That's great.
So it caught on real quick.
Okay. So, how many boxes did you bring to Virgil with you this
I
time?
brought 16 boxes,
Just
and
16.
I give out one lady 16, I give a guy down to the fish plant 16, so he's gonna put them out now, and also we're gonna try to get one of them to take some over to Ramia. And if they need any more, it's only a matter of phone, I can send them down on one of the transport trucks that comes. I just brought those down just to see how it would go,
Mhm.
because it caught on everywhere else. I had a call from St. Anthony yesterday with someone wanting 50 boxes.
Mhm.
I think it was the Lions Club or one of the service organizations.
Mhm.
And I had a call from Gander. A lady wanted, I don't know, because this was only in the Western Star. It was the only paper I was in. I don't know where she got it from, but she was seen the picture somewhere. So
Mhm.
they they're gonna go for the pop cans, because there's good bucks in the pop cans.
Yeah.
It's 2 cents each for every pop
That's
can,
right.
so.
Well, hopefully everybody around town will start using it. It's good, good for you, it's good
It's
for
good
the,
for me, it's good for the environment.
That's right, and it's good for the person
Yes,
that
yeah.
gets the money too. Okay, thanks very much for coming in today.
Thank you.
Any individual or organization interested in acquiring some of these boxes or would like more information can call 579-2436 or 579-7466. This Tuesday, students will return to school again. We spoke with some of them to find out what their feelings are now that the holidays are over and they must once again buckle down to work. Gavin, what did you do this summer?
Going on the road mostly.
Going over the road?
Yeah.
Did you go up to the Sandbanks this year?
Shoot.
A few times, yeah? I guess you had lots of fun being over the road and everything, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Go swimming and all.
Swimming and everything?
Yep.
Yeah?
Have campfires.
Campfires? And what grade are you going to this year?
3.
Yeah, and are you looking forward to that? Yeah? Okay, thanks very much.
You're welcome. I went on a lot of trips.
Where to?
Corner Brook and Pasadena and rivers and all.
Yeah? So did you have lots of fun on your trips?
Yeah.
Yeah, and what kind of things did you do this summer? Did you go swimming or anything?
Yeah, I went swimming and I went on water sleep
Did you? Where was that?
in the Funland Resort.
Oh, I see. So are you looking forward to going back to school?
Yeah.
Yeah? Are you glad summer's over?
No.
No? You'd rather a little bit more summer?
Yeah.
Okay. What grade are you going to?
4.
Yeah? Now who's your teacher going to be? Do you know?
No.
Okay. Thanks very much. What kind of things did you do this summer?
We went to Anchor Point. We stayed in Plum Point for a night. And then we went and visited my nan in Burnt Islands.
Mm-hmm.
And we went to Funland. And we stayed in the Rocky Brook cabins. They got lots of animals there too.
Yeah? What kind of animals did they have?
They had a cow named Rocky,
Yeah?
ducks and roosters and chickens. And they had 2 rabbits, Pinky and Whitey.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So you had a good time, I'd say.
Yeah.
Okay. What grade are you going to this year?
5.
Yeah? Okay. Thanks very much, Angie.
Whoa.
And over the road? Yeah?
Corner Brook.
Mm-hmm. Swimming or anything this summer?
Yeah.
And camping? Yeah? Since our correspondents from the elementary school have graduated to the high school, we will be looking for a replacement. Any elementary student that is interested in becoming the school reporter should call me at the office early next week to arrange an addition. Paving started at the 90-degree turn on the Berger Road last Monday. Motorists should be informed that as yet there are no guardrails between Peter Strides and the 90-degree turn, nor is there any lines painted, so please drive with care. For the past 3 or 4 weeks, there have been several government vehicles in town from the Department of Mines. I spoke with Bryan O'Brian to find out the reason they are stationed in town. Speaking with Bryan and Shawn O'Brian, two geological surveys. What is the purpose for your being here?
We're just about to do the final work on a map that we've been working on for the last 3 or 4 years. We're focusing particularly on finishing up the last part of a survey between Lapoille Bay and in the west, and all the way far east as Burgeo, say. And we're in the business of checking up some details and collecting new rocks for various forms of analysis based on previous summers' work in this area.
Shawn, can you explain, basically what exactly it is that you do?
What we have been doing since we've been here is, as Bryan said, geological mapping, which is sort of a multifaceted study. We've been using a helicopter, obviously, because most of the regions we've been working in are fairly remote and hard to get to. We would, on our average day, we would go out and we would chart rocks. We would effectively try and produce a geological map. We do that through a variety of different ways. And as Bryan said, the main reason we're in this region is because it's because of the potential gold mineralization of the Hope Brook mine. And the region that we've been studying over the past several years, the Burgeo part of it is a small part of a much larger region, but it's all been to try and put the Hope Brook, the gold mineralization at Hope Brook into a regional geological perspective, and that's effectively why we do what we're doing. So.
How long do you approximately stay in a certain region?
We would generally we spend about 4 months of each year in the field, is what we would consider in the field. We have been, as Bryan said, we're just in the final stages of producing this map, and we have been spending, I personally have been in this southwest coast region since 1982, and Bryan for the past several years as well, and we're now just this past month came down to tie up a few loose ends, as one would say, and we're heading out now in a few days, and we may be back again next year to keep it to continue the work a little bit further to the east, but we don't really know yet.
Okay, so other than work to the east, our region is as such finished with you guys?
It never really is. No, we've gone through it on a what you call a 1 to 50,000 scale. That means this map that we've produced here, every inch you see on that is every inch and a quarter on this map is actually a mile, and so a 1 to 50,000 map is a very broad brush sort of look at a region. And certain parts of it are more important than others, and we go back and we look at those regions for whatever reason in much more detail. So any of these regions that we've been working on between Lapoille Bay and Top Pond down to Grey River, we could, we or others would come back here and do further work.
I guess there's a lot of work other than your field work that you guys do as well.
Yes, usually only about 4 out of 12 months of the year are actually spent in the field. The other 12 months are spent at the office or in the laboratory. Basically, after we collect samples and photographs and make various forms of surveys, we compile and manipulate that data and use it to help us in interpreting these geological maps. That process is time-consuming. We have to spend a lot of time also in collaborative discussions with other people in surrounding areas or nearby areas. A lot of time in the library. Sometimes collaborating with people in the mining sector, or looking at drill core, or sometimes maybe somebody in the university to help us with solving the various problems that emerge from these 4 months of data collection. For the most part, the 4 months in the field is pretty well spent in the collection of the raw data set, and the bulk of the year is spent manipulating that data and trying to come to some understanding of that data to have yourself ready to go back for the next summer, the next 4 months, and try to pin in on the specific problems, the things that are important either for scientific reasons or for pragmatic reasons, or in this case for the say, gold mineralization, for example.
I understand that you also relay this information to the miners, or so. You have somebody coming in on Sunday.
Yeah, the Geological Survey of Newfoundland, which we are part, which is a part of the Department of Mines and Energy, is charged with the responsibility of assessing what the geological history of the island is, and as a part of that, what the mineral resources of the island are, and then to spread the word, so to speak, to try and get the message across to those people who look for mineral deposits and the mining companies. And a very large part of our work is distributed through various other parts of our department, through publications and things, to mining companies. Now, the other thing we do is that we operate. Newfoundland is a small place, everybody knows each other, the geological community is the same way. And we bring geologists from mining companies into areas such as this, and they will come out with us. We will show them around the geology of the region. We will show them what types of rocks are where, what type of mineralization could be expected to be found. We would tell them some of our ideas about where else to go to look for a deposit like Hope Brook, and then if they believe us, well, maybe they'll come down and stake claims. As I said to you before, most of the ground between Lapoille Bay and Top Pond, in the northern part of the sector anyway, is already staked up, and companies are doing active exploration all along the belt. There's lots of new companies who are coming in, and they bring new ideas with them. Like we spoke about before, Hope Brook, there was a mine less than a mile away from Hope Brook, and discovered in 1920, and there's visible gold. People have gone to the dump on the side of Sanxurf Brook and picked up visible gold, which has been lying there for the last 60 years. Mining companies have, at least from 1960 till 1980, several mining companies have held the ground that Hope Brook is presently operating on, and they wrote it off as being uneconomical. It just took the right mining company with the right sort of view, and they're helped by the work that the Department of Mines has done in there's geological research, and they put together, they get the money from their from Toronto or wherever, and they raise the money, and they put up an exploration program, and if they're lucky, they'll find a mine like Hope Brook, which is one of the biggest gold mines in Canada, and that has created an awful lot of interest in all this part of Newfoundland, particularly the stretch of ground, I say, between Top Pond and Lapoille Bay. There's a lot of gold exploration elsewhere in Newfoundland as well, of course, you must realize. And
So the other surveys are going on throughout the island as well right now?
Yeah. There's I don't really know exactly how many claims are in good standing in Newfoundland now, more than there have ever been, literally tens of thousands. And many of these areas are being actively explored now by mining companies, and that we operate in many of these same areas to try and put things in the correct geological perspective.
Okay. So you guys are heading out on Monday. Where are you heading for then?
Well, I'm heading up to Notre Dame Bay because for the first part of this summer, I'm starting a new project surveying one of the old copper belts, or probably one of the more famous copper belts in Atlantic Canada, and certainly one of the biggest copper producing areas in Newfoundland historically. And I'll be going back there again for a couple of weeks after I leave here. Gold country.
Gold country. What about you, Sean?
Well, Burgio is taking the good out of me, and I'm going home. Yeah, I'm going back to the office now, starting to next week, starting to work there again. So
Try to work on some suntan and skin cancer, as opposed to the therapeutic beauties of the fog.
Okay, thanks for your time, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That That's it for tonight's show. Please stay tuned for the bandwagon that was aired last year in December and features Bernice Dunford, Clyde Dominy, Aubrey Anderson, Wanda and Selena Anderson, Eugene Anderson, Austin Anderson, Edward Anderson, Gerald Anderson, and Evelyn Penny. On behalf of the BBS and the BBS volunteers, I'm Donna Davies, wishing you a great week. Good night.